Hey guys, I'm Ashleen and welcome to my page. I hope you're having a great day or night wherever you are, and thanks for clicking into this video. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button too for more videos like this. Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 steps to deal with negative thoughts. So negative thoughts are thoughts that we all have as humans. They're very normal, and sometimes they can really consume us and kind of drag us into this hole that does not feel good, and we really don't want to be there. So these are kind of steps that help me kind of get me out of that hole and kind of start thinking rationally and kind of problem solving to bring me to the point where I can move on with my day. All right, so let's check out those steps. All right, so the first step is to be kind to yourself. So understand that negative thoughts come up from time to time, and that's completely okay. As humans, we all have negative thoughts, and it's completely normal. And there's no reason to really beat yourself about it or put yourself down, because that's really not gonna make you feel better. And I think so often we think that we're supposed to have positive thoughts all the time and have this positivity type of mindset, and having bad thoughts is not good. And I think that kind of comes about because of maybe what's seen as ideal in society, and kind of what people may be saying around you. But in reality, that's not true, because perfection isn't true. The human mind is so complex, and it can have a range of thoughts from good to bad. And there's no reason to put pressure on yourself to not think a certain thought because you think it's wrong or because society thinks it's wrong. That won't help us either. So say, for example, you're having a thought of jealousy. So you have this negative thought, and it's not really making you feel good inside thinking about this, but it continues in your head, and it starts spiraling into, oh, I'm having this negative thought of jealousy. It's not a good thought. That must mean I'm not a good person for thinking this thought. And it can kind of spiral you down really into this hole. But beating yourself up about it like that will not help you. Instead, why not try being compassionate and kind with yourself, and remembering that it's normal to have negative thoughts. Everyone has negative thoughts, and they come up time to time, and that's completely okay. So taking an approach of being kind to yourself, being a friend to yourself, being compassionate to yourself will really help you when these negative thoughts do come up, and is a good first step to start with. All right, so step number 2 is ask yourself why you may be having these thoughts. The negative thought could have come up because of maybe something that happened in your day, or maybe something reminded you of a memory that wasn't the best experience for you, and that's what brought up the negative thought. Or it could have just been a random thought that came up. Sometimes things don't really need to happen for thoughts to come up and for negative thoughts to come up. They kind of just come up, and that's completely okay. So using our example of the negative thought of jealousy coming up, after understanding that it's okay to have this thought of jealousy, maybe start asking yourself as to why maybe you're having this thought, or maybe why it came up. Is it something that you saw on social media that you're comparing to your life that's making you feel jealous? Or do you see success in other people's life and you don't see it in your own life? Maybe that's what's causing the jealousy to come up. Or is it something that someone else said to you that's making you feel this way? Really ask yourself the question of why you may be feeling this way. All right, so the third step is accept that this is an irrational thought. So most times the negative thought that you're having is most likely an irrational thought, and you may not even realize it. Just remember and keep in mind that these negative, irrational thoughts aren't you. They're just the mind creating stories and scenarios that aren't true to you. And also realizing that you may not be able to get rid of or move past the negative thought right now at this moment, and that's completely okay, because everyone's different and everyone processes thoughts differently and takes different times to move past the negative thought. And I think accepting this is really important, because you then are able to detach yourself from the negative thought and just see it as the viewer, as just these thoughts are on clouds and they're just passing by and they're not really you. And another thing that you may notice is a negative thought habit or pattern. So the mind sometimes does fall back on this negative thought pattern. And that's another thing to maybe notice when certain thoughts do come up, maybe at a certain time for you, or when a certain thing happens in your life. So I think that's really important to remember as well, that negative thoughts can have it could be a habit or it could be a pattern for you in the mind. And again, that's something really important to notice when negative thoughts do come up. So again, going back to our example of jealousy as the negative thought. So can you see this negative thought as serving you or making you feel better? Or is it making you feel more irrational? Does this irrational thought feel like you? Or does it just feel like the mind is just making up stories and scenarios to make you feel bad? And can you accept this irrational thought for what it is and dive into maybe the deeper meaning as to what may be causing this? So I think this is really an important step, and if you can accept the thought for what it is and detach yourself from it and maybe dive deeper into what the actual meaning is maybe behind the thought, that might be something that could help you. All right, step number 4 is rationalize to problem solve and move forward. So once you have accepted your thought for what it is, now you can start moving in the direction of problem solving and seeing how you can move past this negative thought. Think about what can you do right now to problem solve in this situation. How can you turn this irrational thought to a rational thought that is more true to who you are? What can you do to make yourself feel better in this moment? And again, is there a deeper underlying issue that may be causing this thought, but at the surface it's coming up as an irrational thought to make you feel not so good? And do remember that this negative thought will not last forever. It will pass. And problem solving or making sense of the thought may or may not help you, because everyone's mind is different and thinks differently and functions differently, and that's completely okay. Do what you feel is best for you. And I think that's something really important to remember as well. Do what works best for you. All right, so my 5th and final step with dealing with negative thoughts is self-care. So if all the previous steps don't work for you, maybe try diving into some self-care practices that work for you. And maybe that will help you kind of gain a new perspective coming back into the situation to problem solve. Or while doing this self-care practice, you may completely forget about the negative thought you have and be able to move on with your day. So some self-care practices that I like to do if these previous steps aren't helping me are things like taking a hot shower or going for a long walk outside and getting some fresh air, or taking a nap. Sometimes that helps me. Or journaling and writing about it. Eating a meal or some food that you really like and enjoy. Meditating. And meditating is something that really helps calm me, and it might help calm you. So guided meditations are something that I really enjoy. So I'll link some pages below of some guided meditations that maybe you could try. Listening to some relaxing music helps me too. And finally, talking to someone. If all these self-care practices don't work for me, and I've tried all of them, talking to someone usually is something that really helps calm me down and helps me when I'm having negative thoughts. Whether that be a friend or a family member or someone that you really trust with your feelings. And I'd really love for you guys to maybe pull out a piece of paper or open the notes on your phone and just jot down self-care practices that work for you and that may work for you when you are maybe in a time where you're having negative thoughts and nothing seems to be really helping you. Maybe jot down some self-care practices that'll help you in this situation. When the negative thoughts do come up again, you can always pull out this list and start going through it and seeing if some of these self-care practices will help you. Alright guys, so those are my 5 steps for dealing with negative thoughts. I hope this helps you out there. And again, do remember that negative thoughts do come up and that's completely okay. But just remember to be kind with yourself. Don't beat yourself up about it, and know that the negative thought won't last forever and it will pass. And I hope that is reassuring to you. And if you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And I'd love to start a discussion in the comments, so comment below and let me know what you think about this video or what you do when negative thoughts come up for you. And I really appreciate you taking the time out to watch this video. And I'll see you next time, alright? Take care of yourselves. Bye.